Hello, everybody. Welcome to another week of trading for the week of April 23rd to the 27th. Had a lot of action happening last week, and I think we're going to see a continuation of a lot of that occur here this week as well, too. So we're going to dive right into this and just get going with the U.S. dollar. So you can see the U.S. dollar. We were looking for a run underneath this low here, and it failed to go any lower. It really rejected off of the small area right in here, and a nice big rejection. Monday started out, this down candle was Monday. Tuesday set the low of the week, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday we closed up, and it just fell short of taking out these highs. So I think going into next week, I think what we're going to see is price, zoom in here, fire up above these highs in here, and then this gray box in here is the high above this high here. So anywhere from 90.35 up to 90.50, I think we could see that right out of the gate. Now, if price starts to drop down Monday and Tuesday, I'm kind of looking sort of, see the small consolidation area right in here where these candles came up and really wicked in here and then shot down one more time and then ran. Again, if price starts out, we're at the time of this video, it's 4:30 p.m. New York time on Sunday, April 22nd. So markets haven't quite opened yet. They'll be opening up here shortly. So again, what I'd like to see, if they start running for this high here early in the week, then that could be they could put the high of the week in right here and then reject and come back down. And I wouldn't really expect them to go any lower than this level right in here. So I'm just going to kind of make a note of that on the screen here. So again, you sort of see where this, where these candles in here are consolidating. I would sort of assume that they're going to come back down and potentially reclaim some longs down in here, rebalance the market, and then could be the final drive to go up higher and start to take out these interim highs right here. Because you can see there's a ton of liquidity above these two. They have not come up and swept any of that yet. So there's a bunch of buy stop sitting above the market right here, just waiting to get hammered. So I think that's what we're going to start to see now. If again, just depending on how the week starts to open, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, if it starts to trade down, I'd be looking for a reversal somewhere in this area in here, and we'd come in. That comes in about 98.50 at the low, and it could be anywhere up to potentially even the high of this candle, which comes in at, I can get that on here, 89.69, 89.70. So I'll just put a little marker on that as well. So like I say, if we start trading early in the week, if price opens up and we start trading down, I'd be looking at one of these two levels to get traded down to, and then a potential, and then supports to start to take over. And I'd look at price wanting to run higher from here. But if price starts out of the gate and we just start chugging higher, I'll be looking for the 90.35 up to the 90.50 level to get tagged. And we could see some rejection from there, and then we may see price fall down here. So that's what I'll be looking at early in the week. Either way, either this level here or this level here will get tagged in, but we'll just have to wait and see how the week starts off. Ideally, I'd like it to come down here first, because I think we could have a little bit more range higher in the U.S. dollar to take out. And that, see this, I've got this little blue box around this high up here, but essentially these highs over here, I would expect them to run that again and push higher if it doesn't fail from this level here. So we'll watch that. But if we are bullish, either way, bullish here or bullish from down here, either way, I think we're going to finish off the week, and this level is going to get run. So if we look at that, let me go over to the pound dollar. You can see the rejection on the pound dollar finally. This is a daily chart. It came up, it swept the highs. I'll zoom in here a little bit. It came up, it swept the highs, this old term high in here, and it failed. And you can kind of see sort of the opposite, exactly the opposite of what the US dollar did. Now, the pound dollar and the US dollar aren't exactly following in perfect unison like they normally do. It's obviously, this is in a tight consolidation, whereas the pound dollar has been left to run quite a bit higher. And it is technically in a small consolidation range in here, but these are nice big ranges that it is flowing into. So again, if we do see that higher price in the US dollar, we should see the price of the pound dollar creep down below. And I've got a level in here marked just underneath this low, interim low here, that we could get swept. and we'll see if it wants to go any lower. Do you see the small consolidation range kind of right in here where prices come in? I'll put a tag on that. It's basically just that small range in there. And that comes in, yeah, right about there, about 38.98, somewhere in around that neighborhood. 3,900, big figure. If we push down through this low here, I'll be looking for that 3,900 level to get tagged and see what type of reaction happens. If it doesn't want to see any willingness to bounce, then I think we're going to go lower, and you can see this small gray box that I have in here. There's a bunch of stops that rest below the market under here as well too, where they could be finally driving for. And it would make sense. They came up in here, pushed through, took the old highs out, and now they're probably seeking liquidity below the market and wanted to get lower prices at a better price before they start to push up through. Because I think ultimately long term, I think we're going to be going, again, this is the old Brexit high here. I think we could be challenging that high here pretty soon. So I just kind of want to show you something else too. There could be an area, so this was the start of the week. This is the past couple of weeks started in the pound dollar, traded up, and then this was Monday's open of last week down here. Opened up very, very strong. Tuesday took the high and it swept those old highs. I don't know if I can get, you see back in here. Tuesday swept those old highs back there, and it just a perfect rejection candle up here, and price fell off, and it fell off fast and hard. You can see it ran almost 400 pips in, from Tuesday's high, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday they smashed it down. So I'm going to expect to see them continue that. Now, same type of idea as the U.S. dollar. this The Euro GBP as well too comes into factor. You can see this big bounce they had here. Price was unwilling to go any lower from this level here, and that's why you see the big drop in the pound dollar as well too. If the Euro GBP is going up, the pound dollar is going down, and you can see the big reaction. Now, this really came into a very, very strong level of resistance right here. You can see how price came down, traded away, traded up, scooped all the buy stops above and all the liquidity above, rejected, came back down, swept the lows here, came right back up to this area where it bounced and fell off, and then now we're trading back up there again. So very, very significant level in price right now. So we got to watch this. This one I think is going to be the key driver and sort of the the tipping point, I guess, if you will, for the pound dollar. So if we push through this high, this resistance level in here, and we push through this old high and start climbing higher, then the pound dollar will fall lower. But if it rejects from here, then the pound dollar again will start to resume its climb higher. Now, what a likely situation could be, you see here, see these highs right here and here? It just failed to get above this high. It just barely took that high, but there is still liquidity above here. So what they could do early in the week is they could run it up here, reject, and scoop the longs, and then that would basically push the pound dollar down to here, scoop the lows under here, reject, and then go higher. Now, a couple of targets higher on the market, obviously. See these two equal highs in here. Those will definitely get traded too eventually. May not happen this week, may not be next week. If they want to keep continuing to run this thing lower, then those will not get traded to for a little while. But again, if we do see that rejection on the Euro GBP at that current level, we'll probably see price dip down into here, reject, trade higher, and that would probably be the one of the areas that I would be looking at for sure. I'm looking at the lows in here as well too. Basically, just the lows off of this consolidation area right in there is kind of where, whoops, let me do that, where I believe they may find some resistance in there. But if there's any strength to the Euro GBP wanting to go lower, then we could see that willingness to start pushing higher, and then potentially maybe even trade back up into here. So we'll just have to sort of watch and see how that pans out. But some great movement in there, and I'm gonna expect the same thing to kind of happen next week. Definitely gonna be looking at these areas to get tagged, but if, and here's a big if the dollar wants to come back down and retag these lows in here, it could send the pound dollar back up to here, see some resistance, and then it could roll over. But I'll be honest with you, we're so close to this low right now. I would imagine earlier in the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they'll probably just drop it down in here and scoop all the liquidity under here and then probably run it back up. So we'll have to watch and wait and see as that pans out. US CAD, I just wanted to talk about real briefly. Again, Monday, Tuesday opened up and it formed it basically just scooped the lows right here, the old lows from the previous week trading. It grabbed it. Tuesday created the low, and then a rejection happened. And Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, big up days for the US CAD. And we are, 220 pips plus on the US CAD on that rejection. Now, going to be interesting to see what happens here. If price fails to go any higher than here, we're going to see it fall off, and we're going to scoop the lows here. And I think this 2450 level, 124.50 level, could get hit because I do believe there is further downside. But if the US dollar is really starting to show some bullish movement higher, then it could negate the US CAD going down, and this could actually start to push higher as well too. So we'll have to wait and see. The line in the sand really, see this head and shoulders pattern here. The line in the sand really is if price is willing to go higher than these guys here, really this line, then we're probably going to start to see this as the failure swing. Now, the other thing we could do as well too, you could take a fib off of these levels, run it up to the highs, and say, okay, well, you know what? This area in here, from the 50% down to the 80% level, that is a very strong level of retracement where a lot of price reverses in these areas, and it actually came down and almost hit the 72% retracement level. So very strong, significant areas where price can bounce. So we could see the low in here, but US CAD and the US dollar, that is another pair that necessarily that typically trade in tandem with each other, but you can see as of late this is still in that consolidation period, consolidation trend in here, whereas the US dollar, it is definitely not. You can see the US dollar, it's been free flowing and running quite nicely. So another pair I'll have my eye on for the week here, really at this level here, if they don't start falling over from here, it's pretty much right at the go, no-go zone right here. So if it starts pushing up higher and it closes higher than this candle here, we're probably going to see this go much higher. So we're going to be watching for that. Crude oil, not too much to talk about here. It did create a high. You see these two highs right here, basically two pretty equal highs here. It came in, smashed through that this week, created the low again Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So Tuesday created the low, and they smashed it up Wednesday. That was the this Wednesday candle right here. That was crude oil inventories, and then Thursday set the high, and then Friday retraced. So right about the current level of the small consolidation area right in here again. This is where I'm going to see if they want to bring price back down to sort of the 67.30 level and see if there's any support there, and then we could see another run higher on crude oil. But as you can see, very bullish crude oil. I think we have some higher targets that we could hit very shortly. 73.20 level would be a good target to start. Sort of this small consolidation range in here. There's lots of upside left on oil, but it is heavy manipulated just to geopolitical affairs that happen every single day. A bunch of stuff in the Middle East, OPEC, so many factors weighing on crude oil that really any number of situations could happen. But price traded out nicely, retested off of these lasers. So basically it was kind of a breakout retest strategy and an explosion higher. I am expecting higher prices, so I wouldn't expect them to come any lower than 67.30. But I'd hope on the week, if they can start out trading lower, come down and find some support in here, I'd be looking for it to take some longs. If it breaks through this level here, if it breaks through this 66.60 level, then I believe these areas, areas back down up in here, we could start to see some weakness in those levels, and potentially, and there is liquidity down here, they could come back down and sweep those levels. But as you can see, this nice big run up right here, they did come down and grab some of the liquidity that was resting right underneath these lows here. You can see they came up, rejected, came down, swept those lows, and then just a nice explosion off of those lows. If they do want to drive this down further than here, the 67.30 level, then we could be taking things a little bit lower to finish off the week. So I'll watch for that. But nice explosive movement on crude oil, and again, I am expecting that to continue. So I will be watching this level, this 67.30 level, very, very closely, starting out in the week to see if there is any willingness whatsoever to go lower. So keep your eye on that as well. And that's pretty much about all I wanted to discuss. Actually, Owner's Juice set a nice level, came right back down again. That type of breakout retest strategy. So far it has rejected. Now I don't want to just get into a trade right away because that was Friday's candle. So Monday, Tuesday they could take this thing lower, and they may want to come back down to this level here. So I'm going to be watching for that. But if we see any willingness to stay here and not want to go lower than that level, and we're talking right here at the 141.50 level. If I don't see price wanting to go any lower than there, then we could see a nice push and run higher from there. So we'll be watching that one as well. And I believe that was about it. I'm still watching sugar, and if this is not the first time you heard me talk about sugar, but we could see a bounce here pretty soon. I'm going to be watching for that. And natural gas actually had a nice bounce in here so far. So I'm going to be watching this one as well too for the week. And last but not least, Bitcoin. So far, a pretty nice push higher. Now, again, that whole idea on just kind of taking a fib, looking at the retracement levels, we could see some resistance start to happen at the 61 to 80% retracement level, somewhere up in this level here. So watch for that Bitcoin. It could kind of do one of these things where it comes up to here, and that the momentum wears off, and then we could see one final drive lower. And I've been talking about this for a while, that they're going to drive it lower and under here. I think this is just a false rally. I don't believe this is the low that they've created here. And the reason being, you see this, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. You see these lows here, relatively equal lows under here. That's typically not how they leave price. If they're going to reject and push higher, price will look more like this, or it'll just stab down, reject, and go much higher. You know, kind of like this or like this, right? That's not the type of rejection that you want to see if they are going to seek higher prices. This just basically leaves all the stops sitting right here and a big red flashing radar light that says, come take me, because there's a ton of liquidity to be back down here. And I think they're just going to run it up and then grab some more shorts up in here and smash the market one more time. And I think we're going under here. So we'll wait and watch for that. I bet you it'll probably happen this week or next. And they'll probably just, like I say, trade it in here, and then they'll fall off. So you can kind of see how this price is sort of stair-stepping down. Created the high, came back down, came back up, created another high, fell off, created another high, fell off, and then really created a nice shelf in here of resistance, and then fell off again. They may even want to come all the way back up in here and just reject and then go lower. So we'll have to watch and see what happens there. But so far, that's sort of how I'm thinking that the week is going to shape up on the markets. And I think there's going to be a lot of activity, a lot of action. So it's going to be good. It's going to be starting out right away. I'm going to be watching how these candles open up on the US dollar. And from there, we'll be able to tell what we're going to get with the pound dollar, the US CAD, you know, crude oil, and the whole bit. So we're going to be watching all of those. So it's going to be exciting. Thanks very much for checking this out, guys. And just one more time, real quick, if you haven't done so already, make sure you jump over to our website, sign up, f45trading.com. Free for 14 days. You get signals, you get live videos, you get webinars, you get training, you get instant notifications to your phone. So many benefits. All for free for 14 days. After that, it's a low monthly investment of $75. So really, you can't afford not to do this, guys, because it will jumpstart your trading, day trading career. I mean, exponentially. It's really helps out a lot of people. So definitely check that out. And if you're not already, follow us on Twitter at F45 Trading or on Instagram at Future 45 Trade Signals. So I appreciate your time. I hope you guys have a great week. Let's go out and smash these markets and get after it. Have a great rest of your Sunday as well, too, because the week is not quite over yet. So enjoy it while it lasts, guys, and we'll catch up to you tomorrow. Take care.